Okay, listen, I get it. I watch YouTubers myself. I know how annoying it is to hear the subscriber notification every video. Like, Jesus, it gets so repetitive and annoying, and I'm really sorry that I have to do it to you. But listen, a large proportion of people that see my videos aren't subscribed, and that is a problem, because I am amazing, and I should have all of your subscribers. So, if you're not subscribed right now, genuinely, it means so much to me, because I put in literal hours to make a video like this, get the sprites for this. Big credit to Marshall, obviously linked in the description. Please go check out the artist who did the sprites. It takes a lot of work to make a video like this, so if you genuinely could, just go down, press the red button. It literally takes you less than 3 seconds. It helps me out so much, and if you can press a like, that also helps a lot. It means that this video does better, which would be amazing, because this is a video I've worked really hard on, so it'd be great to see it get the respect and rewards that I really wish it does. So, you know, if you could help me with that, that would be amazing. Also, checking out Bowblax would be kind of cool. But I also have a Twitter, so if you could just press subscribe, leave a like, and follow my Twitter. All 3 of those things, the 3 simple actions, 10 seconds maximum, you make my day genuinely so much better. I'm 35 subs from 7k now, which is absolutely preposterous, bro. Like, I'm speaking in grammar right now, because that's insane. If you can genuinely just go press those buttons, it makes me so happy. So, if you don't, listen, I understand. But if you can, thank you. Genuinely thank you. Thank you to everyone who's subscribed to my channel. I appreciate it a lot. And with that, let's get into the video. Alright, so, for simplicity's sake, I've made a little format for this video. The first portion will be very creatively explaining what Among Us is through word diagrams and probably really low quality animations, because I'm incredibly bad at everything. And then the second part will be the huge success of Among Us and why that's great. But the third part of this video, so I don't clickbait you, will be dedicated to the negative press it's received. Mainly claims that it normalizes extremist beliefs. And I'll cover why that viewpoint from the media is dangerous and represents a severe disconnect between online gaming and the media. And also, around the third section, we have a little feature from, you know, a small YouTuber, very underrated. You might not know him, you know. Let's go show him support. Bowblax! Yay! So, that will be very cool. Anyway, with that out of the way, let's get into it. Okay, so if for some reason you don't know the game that killed Fall Guys, Among Us, I'll explain to you the simple concept. So, there's 3 maps in the game, which are all very simple, very plain, and on these maps they have different tasks, and crewmates, or innocents, as I'll refer to them for simplicity's sake, have the job of completing these tasks to finish the taskbar, and at the same time, in alternative, the imposters, or villains, I guess, of the game, have the goal to kill all the survivors, or to the point where the innocents don't have enough players to vote them out, which would be an even amount of innocents to imposters. So, that's a very simple concept. However, the game gets a little bit more difficult, because when someone's killed, the innocents can run a vote after reporting the body or calling a meeting, as it is, and they can have a discussion and try and catch out the imposters. Now, there's a few key signs to know who an imposter is. An imposter can only fake tasks, they can't do real tasks, and obviously if you see them kill on cameras or through any other method, you know they're the imposter. So, if you vote out the imposters, you win, or if you finish your task in time, the innocents win. However, if the imposters kill all survivors, they win. So, it becomes survivors voting out other survivors, and potentially the imposters, based on stories that they have and witnesses, and suspicions, or someone being, quote, sus. So, it becomes a game of who can lie the best, or who can explain their innocence in the easiest way. Now, this can result in some very, very, very funny clips, but Among Us's growth isn't as quick as you'd think. Among Us was originally published back in 2018, and the game did not see much fanfare. It's weirdly that in 2020, for no reason, the game just blew up because some YouTubers found it and started playing it. And I find that quite interesting, and I think that's a really good transition to the next point I wanted to make. Among Us' success represents way more for the gaming industry than you may realize at initial inspection. Now, you may be asking me, what in the world am I talking about? Because genuinely I might sound kind of mad before I actually explain my point. But Among Us being an old game that has now peaked and finally blown up and become really popular despite its simplicity and ease, regardless of the fact that it was so old and shouldn't have been sent to anyone's Steam recommended or anything like that, represents a change in the industry. Games no longer require themselves to be new or the best, and this can be highlighted quite well with my example of like Gary's Mod, for example, a game that's very old but people still play it because it's quite fun to play with other people, and that's the peak of what gaming can be. People play Among Us not because it's the newest in the franchise, like a Call of Duty game, or because it's a FIFA game, where it's a yearly installment that everyone plays. Among Us is a fun, fresh, good game that went under the radar, and people found it and realized how good it was just based off of either Steam recommendeds or pure luck. And that's really good for the gaming industry, because if we can pick up old games like this and get higher quality games and make them go popular instead of games that are only there to be made for profit like most Activision games, we're really going to be in a good situation for gaming, because it teaches publishers that making games just for the money won't always succeed, especially when you're making a game like a Call of Duty franchise, because yeah, you'll make profit on it, but at the end of the day, if you want to achieve something like what Among Us has achieved, you need to find a way to not be that pay to win bullshit game that nobody wants to buy because it's too expensive and because it's all about the money. In retrospect, what you really need to be is a game that people just enjoy playing, because enjoying playing games is always going to be the heart of what people pay money for. Because at the end of the day, if you enjoy playing a game, you're going to enjoy putting money into it, you're going to enjoy buying stuff for it, you're going to enjoy getting cosmetics for it, you're going to enjoy playing the game with other people, you're going to put more hours into it, you're going to put a lot more into that game if you care more about it because you enjoy playing it instead of a FIFA or a Call of Duty. And that's why I love Among Us, because Among Us has shown the game industry that we can still make games that aren't based on graphics or based on features or based on being the best at something. What Among Us is it's just a game where the publishers had fun with making it. They've created a fun little game with Easter eggs and simple graphics, simple features, and just put it out there for the world to play. £5, easy, cheap, affordable, simple game that they've just given out because whatever, it's just a little bit of fun, and people have eaten it up because it's a good game and it's a fun game to play with friends. And the simplicity of Among Us works, and it shows us that making this complex Call of Duty repeated franchise where it's got a campaign, zombies, multiplayer, Warzone at this point, a battle royale in every single installment, it's just not going to work for the rest of that franchise, and it's going to die off. Instead, what we need is to just enjoy our games, and that is what's slowly happening again, which is really great. It's a great change in the industry, and it makes me really happy to see that it's finally happening. So yeah, I think Among Us is a great game, and I think that the fact that we can still have a game like Among Us do well in 2020 suggests that gaming is not yet absolutely wrecked. Okay, so I've broke this article down into the core parts, I guess, of what I want to point out for my video, and then I'll let Bowblax give his take, and then I'll give my take right after. So, let's start with the title, which, Jesus Christ, it's mind-boggling. Among Us is blowing up. Blame fascism. It's consensual non-consent, minus the sex. Now, blame fascism for Among Us's growth. What? It's a video game. It's a video game. It's not related to fascism, it's just a bit of fun. Also, it's consensual non-consent? What? What do you mean? It's consent without consent. That's not consent. That quote, that really genius, oh, look, I'm a writer, I'm so smart, I'm so creative. That quote means nothing. It's pointless. It's contradictory. Okay, first paragraph. Dividing, isolating, and picking off my fellow players fills me with glee in Among Us. The same thing is happening outside in the real world right now too, and it's giving me chronic health problems. Bit by bit, reactionary movements from the far right are creating an irreversible rift between Trump supporters and everyone else. Meanwhile, among centre-left feminists, there's a growing puritanical, horophobic, and transmisogynic movement obsessed with sexual purity and conservatism. A new proto-fascist reactionary uprising waiting in the wings. These things horrify me. So why do I enjoy Among Us's playful sadism so much when its IRL equivalent fills me with dread? For some, it may have the same appeal as Nazi porn. Among Us isn't just an allegory for fascism, and deceit isn't just something fascists do, either. Left-wing protesters, political graffiti artists, and underground organisers may need to deceive authorities, counter-protesters, or nosy neighbours to protect themselves from harm, and deception is a politically loaded concept. Queer and trans bodies are often coded as deceptive. Carter Miner's comic Stealth Mechanic for Polygon compares cis people clocking trans women to Miner playing as the suit and tie hitman in the IO Interactive series Hitman. I suspect this is one of the reasons why Among Us and other deception games appeal to the queer and trans folk in particular. When we are labelled as deceivers, why shouldn't we become the monstrous deceivers we're told to be? Deception is contextual. Among Us and Push the Button speak to varying psychological needs, at times overlapping and competing with each other. But while one's game can mean many things to many different people, that doesn't explain why deception games are appearing throughout social circles right now. Across the pandemic, among cis and trans, queer and straight, only fascism can explain that. Offline, America is experiencing a civilization-wide collapse. apps. But online, the deceit, mistrust, and betrayal ends when the game ends. Everyone laughs, praises the victor, and readies up for another round. Games like Among Us, Secret Hitler, and Push the Button let us explore, unpack, and practice the investigative skills that haunt us in our day-to-day lives. They also let us understand, acknowledge, and subvert the psychology that powers fascists and bigots. In a world where deduction, logic, shared values, and group communication are vital, sometimes we need a safe space to work through the horror, or safely explore it. Among Us lets us do both.
So this Among Us fascist article is insane, and on the surface anyone could tell you that, but it gets more ridiculous the deeper you go into it, because it's not only linking Among Us to fascism, but also linking fascism to BDSM, and in turn, Among Us to BDSM. Now initially I thought this article was just made to kind of radicalize people to the left. A lot of extreme left-wing people are upset that the larger public is not aware of all the Nazis running around, so making a striking article like this and then giving a summary of how fascists are ruining the world is a perfect way to get people indoctrinated. But after reading the latter half of this article, I really don't think that's the case, or is the primary reason for making this. Because once you get to the BDSM part, the author really projects a lot of their insecurities into the game Among Us, saying that is a safe space to live out your fantasy of being a deceiver and backstabbing people or getting backstabbed, because we live in a world that is untrustworthy and scary and stuff like that. I think this person just has a classic case of overthinking things and being in their head too much. They really need to go outside and socialize instead of thinking so deeply about the moral implications of Among Us's popularity. But hey, that's just my opinion. Let's see what Harley has to say about this.
Now, may I just say, I really have to agree with Bowblax there. This really just seems like someone in a power fantasy who's got these weird desires that they like to use and have fun with in a video game, but they're trying to push that upon other people, especially people in the trans and queer community. And genuinely, it really comes off as just them forcing their behaviorisms on a community that really doesn't want those behaviorisms forced on them. No, it's not a situation of why don't you be the deceiver that everyone's making you be, because that's not what everyone's making you be. It's a misleading article where the writer is clearly biased and just wants to write about their weird fantasies. And from a website that's brought incredible articles like 17 feminist porn sites for erotic empowerment and Sex in Quarantine, expert advises BDSM during coronavirus pandemic, I'm not surprised how stupid this article is, man. It makes no sense, and it's clear that the writer is just writing whatever they think is going to get clicks and forcing their opinion on everyone else. This argument genuinely makes no sense, and I think it just portrays badly on Among Us. This isn't what Among Us is, and if you really think that it is, please give Among Us a try, because it's just a fun game, bro. Literally. But yeah, with that out of the way, thank you Bowblax for featuring this video, and with that, I hope you have left a like and subscribed to maybe, follow my Twitter too, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace, dudes. Hope you enjoyed this video. I want to do more videos like this, maybe with more other YouTubers. That'd be kind of cool. And I'll see you next time.
Said she wanna rock like me. I'm a stylish guy. Spend a little guap like me. We can catch a fly. Said she wanna rock like me.